Joining us now is one of the hottest young prospects to come out of the AMA in quite some time. Everybody knows who he is. Adam Cianciarulo. Adam, welcome to MXTV, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
First up, I got to say, I think it was 2012, I come down and had a chat with you. You've grown like 5 or 6 inches since then. Not just standard manure. How'd you do it?
Puberty, man. You know, it seems like, I mean, I went pro and I was kind of, you know, I hadn't really grown a lot yet. I was maybe 5'5", 5'6", maybe 120 pounds, and right now I'm like 5'11", 160-ish, so pretty standard for a 250 rider, I guess. Because I broke my leg last summer. Yeah. I just had an x-ray to make sure everything was healed, and they said that I still have just a little bit to go on the growing side. So I'll be about 6 foot, 6'1", hopefully 6 foot. I'm good with that.
Now, saying that, you know, with accidents and injuries, obviously the big injury was Geneva Supercross. You broke shoulder.
Shoulder, yeah.
Now, doing that, how did you feel once you'd realised you were going to miss the AMA Supercross?
I mean, it was super difficult for me just because I had gotten injured in the previous season, of course, and you know, there's so much effort and so much time with the shoulder injury, the tearing of the muscles and in the tissues that I do. It's so much rehab and so much time to get back to where you can compete to be the best again. And
how hard is it to get back on track after having so many disappointments so early in your career as well? Yeah,
it's difficult. But at the same time, I'm still super young. You know, I went pro at 16. I have plenty of time. You know, I have 3 years on a lights bike, or on 250 if I want to race, and that's the way I look at it. You know, it's always going to happen. There's always going to be negative things that you have to overcome, and it's not about the thing that happens, about how you overcome it. And I plan to to get back on top.
How do you go with sort of not having a normal teenager, going out partying, that sort of thing? How do you deal with that? Is it a big deal?
For me, it's one of those things to where I never got a taste of it. So it's just like you always think, and I always make this reference sometimes. It's, it's like, what would I do? Back in the day, nobody had cell phones. Like, that's crazy. How did they do it? Well, they didn't know any better. I never partied. I never did any of that stuff. So it's not like something I feel like I'm missing out on. But what I'm doing now, and it's tough, and it's tough to wake up every morning and continue to train and do all that stuff. But just the one feeling I had of winning my first Supercross race, to me, that makes everything worth it. And at the same time, I'm setting myself up with a good job in my industry, in something that I love, sustain my income for the rest of my life. So I get to do something that I love, and of course it takes sacrifice, but that comes with anything.
How hard does Eldon train you guys?
It's tough, for sure. I think it's hard because you have to have so much faith in Eldon, because there's times where you have to push through. When your body feels like it, it's telling you to stop. There's times when you need to push through and you're like, oh man, I might be tired this weekend. The race is coming up. I feel like I shouldn't be doing this, but that's what makes his program different. He trains people differently than, of course, anybody I've been with. He knows the sport so well. He's been with Ricky Carmichael, of course, James Stewart, Ryan Villopoto. He knows the ins and outs of the sport, and there's a lot of knowledge there, and you just have to trust him. And of course, we do all the normal stuff. Everybody cycles these days, rows. It just, everything he does is so precise and so calculated. It's difficult to explain, but it's definitely a lot more than people realize.